Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Learn with Daldaroc. In today's episode, I will be showing you how to create your own custom chip bag. Now, this chip bag measurements, you can be using it for a chip bag to cover a chip, or you could use it as a party bag, meaning you can put a chip and small chocolates inside of this. Okay, so I will show you the materials that you would need for this to create this party bag or chip bag. I will show you how to create the design in Canva as well as give you the measurements for this chip bag. Okay, and stick around to the end because I share tips and tricks for you so you could avoid the mistakes that I made when first creating a custom chip bag. Let's begin crafting. Okay, so what you would need is to open your Canva and go to custom size. Your width is going to be 26 centimeters by 20 height, and make sure your unit says centimeters. Once you've done, you're going to click on create new design. Okay, so you will see that a blank page will open up. So you're going to go to file, go to settings, click on show rulers and guides. Okay, so you'll see I've already created my rulers and guides, but I'm going to explain this. Okay, so you'll see that my first guideline, so what you have to do is you can drag a line and then you drag your first guideline to 2 centimeters. This 2 centimeters is where you're going to allow for your glue area. So let's just label it glue. Okay, then you're going to drag a line again and you're going to come to 8 centimeters. So all you have to do is drag a line and come to 8 centimeters, and you can see on the top it's confirming 8 centimeters. Between the 2 and the 8, this is where you're going to add your QR code, your nutritional label. Let me just change this font so it's easier to see. Okay. So you're going to add your QR code, your nutritional label, barcode. Now, if you want a specific video on how to do your own QR code or label or barcode, I've made a separate video explaining how I do this. Okay. Then your next line, so your first line would be at 2 centimeters. Your next line would be at 8 centimeters. Then you're going to drag a line again to 18 centimeters. Okay, here at the 18 centimeters mark, you are going to put your main text or image. Okay, I'll show you in a minute what I mean. Okay, so now on this side between 18 and 22, you can put your barcode or say a thank you message. But I recommend that because you are starting off and because you are learning how to create your own custom chip bag, I recommend leaving this page or this side blank. And the reason being is if you make a mistake folding or you get your measurements wrong, at least you're not wasting your paper first of all, and you won't be covering your text. I'll explain this further on later on in the video of how easily it can be that a person can cover their text when they're still learning in the beginning. Okay, and then the last line is also just a little bit of extra paper, and this can also be your glue area as well. Okay, so let's go back to my design that I've already created. Okay, you can see where it says 2 centimeters, I've got it blank, and that's the glue area. Here from 2 centimeters to 8 centimeters, that's where I put in my barcode, my QR code. And when I said main text and image, that's between 8 centimeters and 18 centimeters. So we're basically allowing 10 centimeters for your main text and your image. So that's where you'll put it. Now we'll see 18 and 22 up till 26. I have left it blank just because it's my preference and that's the way I like it. So yeah, that's how you can create your design. in Canva, just keep in mind, right? This is the other design I've created. Just keep in mind that when creating these designs in Canva, that I've used it specifically for a little bit bigger chip bag, but you do get bigger chip bags. But I noticed there are a lot of people that do create chip bag content. They use a small packet knickknack. These are the things that you would need to make your custom chip bag. You would need a crimper, you would need your printed photo paper sheet, or you could use regular paper. I am doing a series where I test the different types of paper and I'll show you how it looks. You will also need a paper cutter. If you do not have a paper cutter, you can make use of a scissors. And you would need a chip bag of your choice. For today, I'm using a 25-gram chip bag, and you would also need glue, or you could use double-sided tape. Okay, so the measurements for this is basically an A4 paper, and I am using the Canon photo glossy paper. So all you have to do is measure where your center is going to be. So this is my design, the spot where the barcode is and where the QR code is. That's the back of the chip bag. And if you want to learn how to create your own QR code and barcode, I have a tutorial that I would link to this video that shows you how to create your own QR code and as well as your nutritional facts label. So it's under 5 minutes, and you can do this under 5 minutes as well. So now let's place your chip bag in the center and you can start to fold. Now, if you want, you can trim this white line here, or you could leave it as is. Okay, I personally think I'm going to leave it as is, but I'll show you in my other designs where I actually prefer it to be trimmed. So for this one, I'm going to leave as is. So you can place your chip bag and you fold one side of it and you fold the other side. Make sure that your seam is looking straight in the front and it is visible. Okay, so now we can go ahead and glue. But when I glue, I like to remove my chip bag and I like to fold it down so it's easier to work with, and I'll fold down the other side as well. Make sure when you're folding down that it is straight with each other and it does not, you do not fold it skew, because it's going to be an issue. Okay, okay, so now that we got our lines in order and you can see the front is showing the Hello 30 sign, so all you have to do now is glue. Take your glue, or if you're using double-sided tape, you can make use of that. Glue the bottom. Make sure when you're folding, you fold it straight. And you fold the other side again. Okay, and you put your glue on this side as well. Because we're working with photo paper, I prefer to put a little extra glue, but not too much where it seeps out to the other side. And now we will wait for your glue to dry, and then we can begin to seal and crimp your chip bag in. For the glue to dry, I just like to put something heavy on top. and you can use whatever you have just for the glue to stick to the other side of the paper. If you're looking to purchase a crimper, I have a link that I will link to the video, and you could use the link to purchase your crimper at a discounted rate. Okay, so now that the glue has dried, we can now stuff our bag with your chips or whatever item you wanted to. So you could put it this way, but because I had to narrow down the paper a bit so it could um, fit in the crimper, so we would have to put the chips sideways. Obviously, if you're working with a smaller bag of chips, then it will be a different story. But if you're still working with this big bag of chips, you can just put it in sideways and it will fit, and it looks like that. Now there is still space if you want to put in um, other items as well in there. So you can see there's quite a lot of space still available. And then once you're done, you're going to glue it again or use your double-sided tape, and we're going to finish crimping. Let's glue it down. Okay, so the glue was taking a bit too long to dry, so I decided to switch over to double-sided tape. So I actually recommend you maybe using double-sided tape instead of glue, especially if your glue takes long to dry. Okay, so we have the finished product, but I just want to neaten it a bit with my scissors. And if you have a fancy scissors with the jagged edge, you can use that, or you could also not crimp the bag. It really depends on your preference and design that you want to accomplish. So I'm just going to neaten this up. Now let's talk about some of the tips that I recommend you doing when starting off and when learning how to create your own custom chip bag or party bag. Okay, tip number one is make sure that you have the right materials. For instance, I use this glue, and I also made use of double-sided tape. Now it worked well in the video, as you could have seen. However, the next day I noticed that the chip bag started to open up at the seams. So when you are working with new products and you're working with maybe glue or double-sided tape, I recommend testing it out first. Leave it for two or 3 days and then see if it does not open up. Then you know that that type of double-sided tape and that type of glue is going to be sufficient. But if you don't want to wait that long, I noticed that when working with a glue gun, I was able to seal the edges quite nicely and it didn't open up. Okay, so that's just a thing that you need to test out, and depending on your brand of what you're using, you might not have this issue that I had. Okay, now tip number two, when it comes to crimping. Okay, so as you can see, I have a small crimper, and I personally think that these chip bags do not need to be crimped, especially because you're working with glossy paper and it's actually not very visible. I'm not sure if you can see it on the camera. You can slightly see it, and you can't really notice the crimping effect. But if you want it, I recommend that you measure your chip bag before sealing it at the back. And reason being, if your chip bag is like this and it's too big, it might not fit your crimper and you might not be able to fold it properly. Okay, but if it is smaller and you measured it, it fits nicely and you're able to crimp it. Okay, so that's just my tip and what I've noticed. And also something else that I've noticed, that if you are just starting off and you're just playing around with your measurements, I recommend when you are creating your design to only design your QR code, your nutritional facts label, and your barcode on one side of the paper, and leave the other side blank for now until you're more comfortable with measuring out where your lines need to go and where your QR code needs to go. Because if you get that wrong and you put a nutritional label on this side of the paper and you fold it and you decide to fold it incorrectly, you're going to be covering out all your artwork. So I recommend just putting it on one side of the paper, especially in the beginning when you're just starting off your journey, and it still looks very nice. You wouldn't say that, you know, you're a beginner by doing that. So if you're just starting off your journey, I recommend you doing that, and it will save you a lot of time, and it will save you a lot of errors and mistakes when printing. And also, before you go ahead and use expensive paper to test out your design, use normal regular paper, and even if you print it in black and white, that's fine. So it'll save you some money and cost, especially because you are learning in the beginning, and when we are learning in the beginning, we don't get things right 100% all the time. Okay, so if you have any questions, and if you want to learn anything more on any other templates or any other design, let me know in the comment section. And if you would like to purchase this design, or you would like to have a link to this design, let me know and comment the word link, and I'll send you the link. And also, if you have any questions, put it in the comments box and let me know if you tried this and how did it work for you. And as always, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with someone who enjoys crafting. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye for now.